Now, the sheer number of man-hours lost to traffic complications in a place like Lagos State, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, continues to highlight the individual challenges of the working class. This situation becomes particularly demanding for working mothers who must, in addition to traffic hustles, return home to take charge of parenting and offering financial moral support. In an increasingly diversified world, the issue of how technology can be deployed to help mothers deal with these challenges has gradually become a part of everyday conversation. Kemi Olawoye is the co-founder and CEO, Baby Migo, Nigeria's largest pregnancy and parenting community. She is passionate about reducing the incidence of maternal and child mortality in Africa through technology. And she joins us now. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Yes. And this is a very, very topical issue, understanding that modernization has actually necessitated that things are done better. And parenting, motherhood is not excluded.
Absolutely.
And we know that the baby industry is a billion-dollar industry globally. And you're trying to bring in technological solutions to that. It interests people, expectants, and those that have children. And that's why I'm particularly very, very interested in this. Talk to us. For you, how are you trying to solve this problem of trying to probably maybe free up more hours for the parents to be able to do their duty at home at the same time still fulfill the obligation of being working class individuals?
Yeah, I think it's first important to mention that, like you said, with modernization also comes a lot of challenges for working parents. So just like the intro said, a lot of traffic. In addition to that, a lot of career women, are trying to rise up the career ladder. And another major issue, that has also happened, different from the times of our parents, is that, there's now a lack of community support as well. So in those days with your parents, you can always drop your kids off at your cousin's place and all that kind of stuff. But with us now, it's tough for women, actually. It's very tough for women. And so what we're trying to do is to look at the key challenges that working parents face and how technology can help with that. It's also important to mention that technology has shown itself over the past few years, and it continues to show itself to be a major catalyst in every industry, not just for working parents, in every industry, agriculture, healthcare, whatever it is, technology has shown itself to be a major catalyst. Now, in addition to that, I must also talk about the three key challenges that working parents now begin to face during this time. And one, like I said, is lack of community support. With this age and time, everyone is working. Unlike before, there's nowhere to put your kids. Another major issue is inadequate access to healthcare professionals. Just a few days ago, I was reading how that one of the medical bodies showed that the ratio of doctor to patient is now had a ratio of 1 to 10,000, unfortunately. Yeah. So that means that with us now in this generation, with the brain drain, migration, and everything going on, we can't really access healthcare professionals. Another major issue that we're facing is that there's also lack of access to accurate health information. If we also look at the statistics of maternal and child mortality in Africa and also in Nigeria, lack of awareness and education has been a major issue. So how can technology help? The major thing with technology is that what we're doing and what we're encouraging is that we need to develop and invest in technology to solve these problems. And technology doesn't only have to be mobile application. It can be web platforms. It can be SMS solutions to help women, not even just working parents, but also women in the rural areas.
So I assume you have already done that.
Yes, we've done that, and we are also imploring even stakeholders, because we know that it's not something that we only can just do. We're also encouraging stakeholders, including the government, including workplaces, including healthcare professionals, different stakeholders, and even media professionals like yourself, because by giving us this platform to talk about a crucial issue like this, it shows that you're also supporting and lending, you're lending support to working parents and what we can do to help with these key challenges and areas that we have.
Well, you said something about rural women, and I'd really like to know how easy has it been to get technology across to them, considering the challenges we face here, the bad road network, even limited network, that's internet network, all the issues getting to the rural areas. How challenging has it been?
It's come with a lot of challenges, but what I would definitely say is that, like I said, with technology, it's not just about developing this really major solution that sounds very luxurious. It's also about doing like the little things. So SMS has been very key in that area. So by partnering with telecommunications company to say, okay, so for example, with the education part, how can we send messages in a sequential format for pregnant women? How can we educate them through all the different trimesters and months of their pregnancy up until their baby is here, postpartum period, and more?
All right, so talk to us about Baby Migo and the steps you guys are taking to actually fill in this particular niche.
Okay, so for us at Baby Migo, what we have done is to leverage SMS, like I said, in partnership with the telecommunications company, web app as well as mobile app, to create a community, an online community. And so we're currently Nigeria's fastest growing pregnancy and parenting community for mothers and for parents with children between the ages of 0 and 7. And in addition to creating this our platform, what we have also done is, what we also continue to do rather, is to campaign and engage in discussions that allows us to educate stakeholders. Just a few months ago, we went on a campaign to educate employers, workplaces on how they can develop policies that makes the work environment more conducive for working mothers. Paternity leave, let their husbands be with them, at least even if it's for 2 weeks, to support them, because we know how these periods have been. Give them 3 months paid maternity leave at the minimum.
That's music to my ears, if you'd ask me.
But some people are actually worried that technology in healthcare can be likened to a double-edged sword. Nowadays we have people that if they have any symptoms they don't understand, just go online, Google it, and diagnose yourself. Whatever treatment you see there, you go ahead, and in some cases it has backfired. So I'd like your take on that.
I'd say that, for me and for us in general, what I'm constantly saying is that yes, with modernization also come challenges. With all of the benefits also come challenges. And while people have been using Google and the rest of them to, do terrible things, but there's also helped in a way. And so for us, what we always encourage is that ensure that you just educate yourself. But in terms of taking steps like, medications, what to use, please go to a proper facility to get, a proper prescription, and then you can purchase that. But education, we cannot deny the need for education, because I must also mention that some of the major challenges with maternal and child mortality in Africa and in Nigeria has been things like postpartum hemorrhage, hypertension in pregnancy, and we found out once moms are aware, even from our community, because we have a large community of pregnant women, and many of them are 6 months pregnant. In fact, just one of them recently, hypertension in pregnancy, doesn't even know, she's not even using medications, and like this person can literally, pass from having. So when they're educated and they know, okay, when a woman gets pregnant, she can have diabetes in pregnancy, she can have placenta previa, she can have all of this condition, and this is what you need to do. If well managed, you will be fine. Your baby will also be fine. So education continues to be important despite the challenges.
All right, you've been harping on the community education and what have you. Like, I know it's quite expensive, because trying to pass this information to people, you will need to do it over and over and over and over again for it to sink in, or probably for you to register, and it takes a lot. So talk to us about how are you funding this endeavor, how are you ensuring that this is not just a flash in the pan, that this is sustainable, this is continuous.
Yeah. Well, first, we've had the support from a lot of stakeholders, including international organizations like Google and Facebook, and we've had their backing over the years. And even up until last year, we've received funding for them. But apart from that, rather, in addition to that, while it can sound expensive, it can also really not be expensive, and that's why technology is important, right? With just a little amount of money, moms can have access for example, the 9 months of their pregnancy period, and just a little money, 5,000, 10,000, can save them millions that they would probably spend in different facilities.
No, I'm not talking about for the mothers. I'm talking about for Your company, for your company, certainly you will be subsidizing to ensure that this information gets out there.
Yes.
And someone has to pay for that.
Yes.
So that's where my question
comes. Okay, all right.
Who's paying for that?
Well, of course, we're a for-profit organization. While we're a social enterprise and we're very passionate about maternal and child care in Nigeria, we're a for-profit organization. But we've also had funding from international organizations, including Google. We're part of the recipients of the Google Black Founders Fund. We've had funding from Facebook and quite a number, even the U.S. Department of State as well.
Wow, lovely.
So I'd like us to talk about a particular issue. That's the skepticism that usually surrounds cesarean section. How acceptable would you say that procedure is now, and how affordable is it?
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting question, because I must say that in our community, we've had lots of instances, even up until I think 2 days ago, where we've had to allay the fears of moms. And what I always tell mothers with cesarean section is that, one, is it important for you to do it? Yes, especially in cases where there could be complications, like I've said, hypertension and the likes of that. Two, are you assured that the facility you are going to, these guys are board certified healthcare professionals? Are you in the right hands? You're not going to quacks. If yes, cesarean section is a development in medicine that we must accept. I know that the generation of our mothers and our parents, we're not so receptive to the idea of cesarean section, but it saves lives, literally. And I wish that a lot of, women would be more receptive, and even husbands. I mean, I'm thankful that we have a man, joining this conversation, need to be more receptive to the idea of cesarean section. We're not there yet, but I must say that, we've seen more acceptance in the past few.
What about affordability?
Well, it's becoming more affordable, but definitely not there yet.
Okay.
All right. Talk to us. Certainly, in your community, you mentioned something about the fact that informations are in Google and the rest of them. How do you tackle myths as against facts? Talk to us. Just help us debunk one of the myths out there about pregnancy and women expecting what some people think it's fact, but it's actually a myth.
Oh, wow. If I could write a book on that, I'm sure I'd have like a whole dictionary on that. So many myths, especially in this part of the continent, from putting pin in front of your dress as a pregnant woman, so that demons will not affect the mother and the baby. So a baby experiencing hiccups, and then you have to put a thread on the head, to ensuring that the newborn is bathed with palm oil. Our African mothers, to force-feeding babies. It's really countless. But what we do from our own end is that, one, we ensure that the information that we pass across is expert verified. So we have our team of gynecologists, pediatricians, midwives, nutritionists that ensure that the information that we're passing across is verified. Another thing I always tell moms is that with these myths particularly, that many of them are culturally rooted. Things that they've heard from their great-grandmothers, grandmothers, and unfortunately they don't have there's no medical substance to it. And if by any chance that they feel like what their moms and their grandmother-in-laws are saying is true, I always tell them, ask your doctor again, just to be sure that this is something to go ahead. But there are just so many of them.
So what would you say are the leading causes of maternal and child mortality in Nigeria, and how can we begin to tackle them effectively?
Postpartum hemorrhage, complications in pregnancy, including diabetes and hypertension. I think in terms of, so many, but those are like the leading causes. I'd say that in terms of tackling these issues, one, like I've said before, awareness and education, because when these moms are not even aware of the existence of these issues, it's really tough for them to know what to do. Just a couple of days ago, I apologize for digressing, I saw a video of a mom whose baby had not turned yet and it was 9 months, and they took her to this herbalist or a traditional place, and they were massaging. It looked painful. Not to talk of if you had to be there or experience that. So I think that awareness and education is very important. The second thing would be equipping our healthcare facilities. We know that in Nigeria, over 50% of the Nigerian population is currently below, they're like low-income earners, and many women still go to the primary healthcare facilities rather, to have their babies. How many primary healthcare facilities are well equipped to take these deliveries? How many healthcare facilities have healthcare professionals? Let's even leave Lagos, where, it's easy. Let's go to the rural areas. Many healthcare facilities are not equipped. So I'll take equipping these facilities. And the third thing I would say would be support from stakeholders. we cannot overemphasize the need for support from the government, from workplaces, from healthcare professionals, and from the general public.
All right, you mentioned something about postpartum depression. It's becoming, the awareness is growing in Nigeria. Talk to us about this. Are people becoming more forthright about speaking up about this particular issue? Because women do experience it, quite a number of them.
Yeah, I think people are becoming more open with awareness, with discussions such as this. Women are becoming more open, but we're still not there yet. And I think that the issue too is that there's something that I like to call the superwoman complex that we unfortunately face as women in this part of the world, where it looks like once you're pregnant or you have a baby, you're not the first person to get pregnant, you're not the first person to have a baby, and what is wrong with you? You can do everything. And this one is saying, I'm tired, like I can't deal. I have, maybe toddlers and I still have to take care of this new baby. And so unfortunately, that's why I keep saying that beyond the stakeholders, the general public are also stakeholders. Until we stop asking women if they had their baby via vaginal delivery or cesarean section, until we stop making women that are either feel tired during pregnancy or after childbirth, your mates are going back to work, why have you not gone back? What is wrong with you? Until we stop these kinds of stigmatization, we may not really get there as quickly as possible.
Well, so much to talk about, but unfortunately we are out of time. Kemi Olawoye, co-founder and CEO of Baby Me Go, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.